Alright, so this is a movie I've been wanting to review. Killers of the Flower Moon. Probably one of my favorite movies for sure. Might be my favorite of 2023. Oppenheimer was close. A lot of great movies, but this one generated only 155 million. You would think that's a lot, but when you see at the budget what it cost to make it was 200 million. So that is a lot of money to spend compared to how much it generated. It's in the negative as a movie. It did not generate profit, even with amazing performances like Robert De Niro's performance as William Hell is incredible on this movie. Leonardo DiCaprio always kills it when it comes to his performance on with Ernest Burkhardt. Amazing performance. Lily Gladstone, Molly Burkhardt, crazy performance, amazing performance. All of these performances for me were epic. The movie, the way it's filmed, the way it looks, the way everything is very smooth for a 3-hour movie. More than 3 hours. I love the performance from Jesse Plemons, Tom White. I remember him way back from Breaking Bad, his performance over there. So it's interesting to me how a movie that has such great performances, 200 million, but only generated 155 million. And I wanted to do a review because of that, because sometimes in art, let's just think about it. Sometimes you have a creative vision that costs a lot, but at the same time, people are simply not going to watch it at the moment that you want it to be watched. The time slot you have available, the time frame you have to generate the money, it just doesn't happen sometimes. Sometimes you have a great idea and the algorithm isn't going to favor you as a YouTube creator. So imagine as a big budget movie, you could be Martin Scorsese with Leo on the film, with Robert De Niro, and you still might not generate profit. That doesn't mean the movie is bad, because this is one of my favorite movies from 2023. The reality is you're competing with Oppenheimer, you're competing with people who want to watch Napoleon, and the budgets are very high as well. And that's just the reality of it. Go into the movie. I'm very, very glad that Robert De Niro played William Hill, because that was a crazy performance. The way he's being on both sides, acting like he's friends of the Osage. And at the same time, he's unfortunately doing all this killing, planning it to try to get the money, the inheritance of all these families, specifically Molly's. That's why he tries to make Leo do these things, even though from the beginning I always thought Ernest, which is Leo's character, was definitely somebody who fell in love genuinely with Molly, which is Lily Gladstone. That's her name in real life. Amazing performance by her as well. It was tough to see how every time Leo was injecting her with what was supposedly insulin. Only 5 people had insulin back then, supposedly. Turns out it's not really insulin. I mean, he's injecting her with something that's debilitating her. She can barely move now. Her eyes just look gone. She's dizzy. She can't stand up from the bed. It's crazy. It gets to a point where Leo is like, nah. He starts realizing he's hurting her, and he puts some of that, which was supposedly insulin, into his drink, and he drinks it, and he's gone as well. That same night, he feels the effects, so he knows this isn't safe. This isn't the way he thought it was, where his uncle, William Hell, Robert De Niro's character, said it was safe and everything, and he thought he's doing this to all the other Osage, but he's not going to do this to her because she's my wife. But at the same time, completely wrong. Yo, William Hell is crazy. He gets Ernest to do that for him, Leo, and at the same time, he's killing his wife just because he really wants that inheritance money. No whatsoever compassion for the people. He's scamming. This is one of the top scammers way back. This is scamming at another level. Crazy and unfortunate at the same time, because he's killing all these families and trying to get insurance money from people that are alive, like that other Osage member that he had to wait about 6 months. But this Osage member, I forgot his name, he was suffering from depression, I think it was. They called it melancholy, and he wanted to end his life. So William Hill could not allow that, because if not, he wouldn't get the insurance money. So he was trying to keep him alive just till then. And it's crazy to think all the people, everything that he was doing just to get all this inheritance money, even though he was well off at that point as well. I like the way that they show how the white people on this film try to say these Native Americans are not overall working, they just getting money for free, all of this stuff. And then at the same time, you see the Native Americans say these white people over here, they're not working at all. They're doing, when we put them for these jobs, they don't take us seriously as leaders. There was one specific moment where they were showcasing, for lack of a better word, I think these people looked, I don't remember the word they used, the Osage members used, but it was kind of like referencing to them as hillbillies. Like, oh, these white people, hillbillies, they're not even working as well. So each side was trying to mention them in a way that was, they're lazy. And it's what you hear from one group when they have this hatred towards another group. Usually, they're lazy, they don't work. Then the other group says the same thing, ironically, here, because these people are actually not doing this as well. So it's very interesting how one side argues with the other right here. The irony of it. I really, really liked Leo's performance, specifically when he first is about to get, no, it wasn't when he first, it was one point where he was going to get the insulin, and then she says she doesn't want to take it, and he tells the doctors to go away. He starts yelling at her, telling her all these rituals and all this natural herbs are not going to work. You really think that's going to work? All your crazy sounds. He even does something very derogatory where he starts going, well, like he starts doing a lot of stuff that is very, very mean to her. It's crazy, crazy performance right here. He should win an award for this. Actually, Robert De Niro should probably win the award the most. Crazy performance. Molly should as well be nominated for one. So my question is, the budget thing just surprises me. But I was going to go to another point in the film. That was one of my favorite points. Leo's performance when he's screaming at her right there. The way he does it, it's just peak level acting. And she had a lot of great moments here showcasing how she had to withstand everything he kept doing. At first, they show he doesn't want to cooperate. Then he ends up cooperating. The scene where she goes to the president didn't happen in real life. And the dialogue between William Hill and Ernest at jail didn't happen in real life. But I like how Scorsese added that. I love the addition of the FBI here. Amazing addition, the way we see. And this is adapted from the book Killers of the Flower Moon, the Osage Murders, and the Birth of the FBI. So this was amazing to see how the FBI, that's where Jesse Plemons, Tom White in the movie comes, and he opens the door and he starts saying, I came from the government because they told me to investigate these murders. It's like 30 people keep dying here. This isn't a casualty. This sounds like an epidemic. He says that to William Hill in the barbershop. And he's like, yo, this guy's crazy. He just keeps ignoring the fact that he acted like nothing happened. He had nothing to do with these murders. Nothing to do with these murders. And he just kept getting his shave, to the point where Tom White was like, I'm going to let you be. My bad. Enjoy your shave. I know this is a bad time. But of course, he's actually been investigating this whole time. That's why you see the Native American that is part of the FBI as a covert agent, John Wren. They put him as he's going to find his family over here that he has relations with the Osage, but in reality, he's been around everything that's happening when Ernest is playing pool, when they're over there talking and signing papers. He's been looking at everything, and it turns out he's an FBI agent as well. He starts to realize that, yeah, this is what's happening right here. The FBI agents reunite, and they start to notice this is happening. I gave insurance to this land, to William Hill, and now it's caught on fire. So now I'm realizing, okay, this is all intentional. It's not a surprise. And wow, I almost forgot about the murders, specifically how they're killing all these Native American men since the beginning to force these women to basically get with these white men in the movie. And it's interesting to see because majority of the Native Americans, when they do the reunions, the male counterparts, they're older of age, so they don't have young males to mate with the. I wouldn't use mate to reproduce, whatever you want to call it, to have relations with these women. So it's interesting to see that because they show it how they kill these men. They're trying to avoid at all costs that they have relations with their Native American men to the point they have to be forced to date these white men, and that's how they get the inheritance because then they end up dying. I love the part where the mother of Molly basically says, you're killing us with all this. Why do you people keep dating all these white men? But unfortunately, it's because they've been killing all these Native American men right there in this movie. I like how they showcase the symbolism of an owl coming inside whenever death is about to happen soon, and how they use that for Molly because she gets to see the owl as well right when Leo's character comes in with the insulin with a stronger amount that they gave him, that William Hill gave him. And he's about to put it again with her being already very unconscious, but she manages to survive. And that's a great part of it. She goes and has her own life after all of this, after he confesses and actually ends up cooperating. Right, I'm back because of my battery. So what I was getting to was how the symbolism of the owls represent how death is about to happen. So as Leo's about to inject her with more of that supposed insulin, she actually manages to survive. She sees William Hill, thinks he's actually there, but then she's about to touch and he's not. So she's been hallucinating as well, but she survives. Leo cooperates. She ends up divorcing still because she asked him specifically towards the end, what was in those shots that you were injecting me with? Did you tell the whole truth? Did you tell the whole truth? What are you injecting me with? And he says, insulin, but with a very, very sad face, basically. That's when she knew you did not tell the whole truth. You told all of that, but you were probably telling the truth about loving me, but you did that still, and you did not accept it. So divorce happens, and they tell at the end that she actually married somebody else and lived her life after that. Tough to see how they killed overall her, Molly's sister. Tough scene because they showcase how they just took her to like a river, for lack of a better word, place of water. They shot her in the back. And that was crazy to see because there was this scene where she was going inside the house and Molly was trying to tell her to relax, the mother as well, because she sees Byron, Ernest's brother, starts flirting with another girl that's even younger for some reason, and a white woman. So she doesn't like it because she expects him to be loyal as a man right there. But he's saying they're not in a relationship, so he could do whatever he wants. And then supposedly he takes her to drinks. That's when they show when one of the people, the older persons from that place, cooperates with the FBI. He says he did see Byron and the other people get drunk with her. What was the name of her? I think it was Hannah or Anna. Anna, I think it was. And basically then after they get drunk and they stay at home with Molly and Ernest, it was Anna Brown. They go down to where the water was and they shoot her. And that's what they keep doing, just to the point where they try to get the inheritance. And this is what they did as well with letting the mother die, because the mother dies young age, technically 50s and all of that. They don't last till the 50s. That's what William Hill tells Leo. It's a lot of stuff. It's crazy to see because they have these sickness problems. We know what that has been before as Europeans came to this place with diseases. They might have had vaccines that people over here weren't immune to. So the first overall effect was tough, killing nearly 90% of the population. So they kind of highlight to the sicknesses, which is unfortunate, of course. I like how when the mother dies, she wakes up. She's on a, I don't know how you say that in English. Hammock, is it? Hamaca is what you call it in Spanish. So when she opens her eyes, she sees her people greeting her, basically like they're heaven. And she goes and she has a happy life right there. But of course, her family's mourning, crying, right in front of her because she's dead in real life, quote unquote. So that was all interesting. Of course, William Hill did not want Leo to have kids because then turns out he's like, wait, so you're fucking her as she's sick? And he's like, well, that's what couples do, uncle. What were you expecting? But he's surprised because he wants to avoid the kids, because if the kids are alive, what happens? They get the inheritance and not William Hill. So it's crazy what he even tries to do. They showcase that one of the Ernest kids, one of those kids dies while he's in jail, and that's what forces him to cooperate finally. Woof. It's a long movie, long review. Let me know what you think. Some movies just don't generate, man. That's reality of it. Some movies, 200 million is a lot for a budget. So to beat that, especially when it's not one of these quote-unquote superhero movies, it's tough, but amazing movie. I might do a video on the Golden Globes. Competition is tough. Oppenheimer, Killers of the Flower Moon. A lot of stuff. Let me know what you think. Past Lives is nominated as well. And I'm out.